What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to talk about LMU. And oh boy, I didn't make a video in a long time, so it is really hard. Anyway, we are going to talk about LMU because I'm new to this game, and as a person who's coming from Azzurgosa Competizione or ACC, I had a couple of challenges to overcome to get used to this game. So I thought it's good to share it with you guys. Basically, this is like 4 steps that you have to do if you are new to the game and if you haven't figured this out already. So saying that, if you've been playing this game for a long time, just this video is not for you, so you already know these things. But since I had to go through forums and YouTube videos and things like that, I thought it's good to share these details with you. So if you're new to the game like me, please stick around and post your questions, and if you're doing something different than me, just let me know, because I'm still learning as well. And hopefully this would be a good learning point for you and me. And let's not waste more time, and let's go into our step 1. So step 1 is FOV, or we could say field of view. It's basically the angle how you see through the car, like how you see the track through the windshield. This is the default view in this game, and even if you change the cameras by toggle the camera button, you get different views, but this is not the ideal view, at least for me. So I was expecting the default view in ACC, just like this, but by doing some tweaks for cameras, you could get this, the same view, you could replicate this. But if you ask me, like, can't you drive with this view? You absolutely can, no issues. But for me at least, there's too much information. So and it's pretty high up, so I wanted to replicate the view in ACC, and by doing some tweaks you could do that. So let's see how to do this. So you have to go to settings and graphics for this, and if you go down, and it's something called vertical FOV. So in my preference, I would like this to be inside 30 and 40. So 36 is a pretty good FOV, at least for me, because you get all the views and you are pretty much close to the dash. You still get to see the steering wheel, but you could turn that off in settings, no issues, just if you really want to replicate the same thing in ACC. And I think this is pretty cool, but if you want to do some changes, I would recommend 30 to 40. Go with that. And also there are some other settings as mirrors and the steering wheel on or off, that's your preference. And there's something called head vibration as well. It's a bit tricky to get used to, but if you like that, turn it on or turn it off, totally up to you. So that's 36, and let's see how it works for 30, because I would like to go between 30 to 36 or 38 in that case. So this is how 30 looks like. I think this is a bit closer to the dashboard, but it's totally depends on your preference. So it's not a right or wrong value in here, it's totally on your preference. So that's for GT3 cars. What about hypercars? For hypercars, 30 to 36 doesn't really work, you have to go lower. So I would recommend 20 to 25. So this is how 24 looks like. This is pretty decent if you are racing with hypercars, because you could still see the both fenders. If this is not enough, go with 26, but I wouldn't recommend to go over than 26. There's one small problem in this view, because you cannot see the flags indicator, but with the new update, the flags, when there is a flag, you could directly see below your mirror. as you can see in this screenshot. So it won't hinder you, and I think, at least for me, this works pretty well. But I have to be honest, I haven't raced much with hypercars in this game, so just try 20 to 25 if it works, else it's up to you. Step 2 is steering rotation. In here I'm using a Moza R5 and 540 as my steering rotation for ACC, but this doesn't work pretty well for LMU. I'm not sure it's an issue with Moza or LMU or both, but when I set to 540 and in the game, if I try to use the steering wheel, it doesn't even turn 90 degrees one side, so it's not good, especially when you're driving hypercars, as you can see here. So I'm turning the steering wheel like 70 degrees one side and it doesn't mimic pretty well in the car. So there are two ways you could fix this. One is go into game settings and wheel settings and change the rotation from there, but as I saw it, it's not very consistent if you change cars. So I would recommend you to change it from your software, wheel software. So in this case I'm using Moza, so if you're using something else, just load your software. If it's a Logitech, doesn't matter, change your steering rotation and see how it works with the game. And in here for hypercars I would recommend 920, and for GT3s even 720 works pretty well. So it's totally due to your preference, but when your wheel is not synced properly with the car, it's really hard to drive. So I think it's better to fix these issues before you do real races. So that's for hypercars, and this is how it works for GT3 cars. I think 720 works pretty well for GT3 cars, but as I said before, if you're driving a hypercar, just go with the 920 or 1080 or something like that. So just to demonstrate how it works for GT3s, this is 720. It works okay, but if you don't like this, you could go with 920. 920 actually mimics the steering wheel one-to-one, but 720 works pretty well as well. So that's the step 2. Let's move into step 3. The next step is force feedback. In this game, the default value was 65 or 75 for force feedback. In my case, I thought it's a bit high because when the force feedback is high, the wheel, most of the time the wheel is fighting with you. So as I demonstrate this in here, it especially shows in tracks like Spa, especially in corners like Rouge, because you have to take these corners almost flat out, and when you have a lot of force, the wheel fights back, and most of the time you'll lose the car or lose control of the car. And even though if you don't completely lose the car, fighting with force feedback will definitely affect with your lap time. So go to your settings and go to force feedback settings and make sure the value is something manageable for you, because as you can see with my chicken hands, this is too much for me. So I played with values like from 50 to like 65, and I found like 55, 60 would be like a good value, because in that range I was getting good lap times, especially for Spa. So what you have to do is just go with the range 50 to 60 maybe, and find a good value for you. This might take some time because you have to use different tracks and different cars, and to finalize a value, but I'm pretty sure it would be around 50 to 60. So try to use different cars in different tracks and make sure that you're comfortable with this value, and this force feedback value will help you to set good lap times. So this will really help you in multiplayer games. Yeah, that's it. All right, last topic, car and setup. So this is a bit tricky subject to get into, but in this video we'll just go through the basics, and maybe I'll create another video explaining all the settings in a setup. So the best thing I would say to do is to select one car and get used to its handling, because if you're coming from ACC, the handling is a bit different, especially on slow corners and all. So once you get used to it, you could change cars and explore other options as well. So if you're new, just stick into one car and a couple of tracks and make sure that you are comfortable with the car, and then I think we could move to the setup. So how do you get comfortable? I think you can do practice sessions, you could do like race weekends and things like that before you go to online races, because online races is the way to make your ranking. So if you want to go higher up in the rank, you have to take good qualifying positions and everything. So that's about it. So let's go into the setup and discuss this further. First and foremost, you have to select fuel, because in a 20-minute or a 30-minute race, you don't need a full tank. More fuel means more weight. So the first thing that you have to do is to know how much fuel you need for each race and adjust it, and this would actually help you a lot. And then you could go into these settings like onboard TC, DC power cut, and slip angle. So for the BMW, I'm using TC4 and power cut 6 and slip angle to 8, and the brake bias 50 and ABS to understeer, mainly in Spa. But if you are racing in Monza, I think ABS, if you put ABS to balance, that would work. I will create another video on setups, but that's it for today, and hope this video is useful. I'll see you on the next one.